Welcome back to the Elyse DeLucci Show. I'm your host, Elyse, and welcome to my living room on the Upper East Side of Manhattan. How are you doing? Today, we are talking about a mommy makeover. Yes, plastic surgery. Have you had a mommy makeover? If you don't know what it is, we're talking about it. If you do know what it is and you had it, we have to talk about that. How about how to make your relationship last, your new relationship? What about buying cute face masks? Are you buying cute face? I'm wearing the blue ones. They're hideous. We need to talk about that. Before I get into anything, did you hear my new intro music? What do you think about that? So I said a while ago, I think I need some intro music and some outro music because just push and play on the podcast and hearing my voice, is driving me crazy. So I picked a tune, and I think it's pretty great. You know, it's 50s. I love it. And I also made the sound clearer. I think it was a little fuzzy before. Anyway, welcome back. Take a sip of your drink. Stay tuned. Relax. And enjoy talking to me. Elyse. Fact of the day. On Valentine's Day in South Korea, only the women give gifts to men. Men do not give gifts to women. No offense to South Koreans, my people, but what the fuck? Honestly? Really? Because hello, in the Western world, Valentine's Day is a girl's holiday. I mean, it's probably the only day I get flowers. And in your country, you have to give your man a present? What about you? What do you, chop liver? I mean, like, really, no disrespect, but come on. And in this country, sometimes we give the guy a box of Russell Stover heart. You know, big box of the Russell Stovers, the big heart. You don't even get that? I'd protest. Oh, I'd protest. I couldn't deal with that. Anyway, how are you? How's your week? Good? Yeah? Good. Let me tell you, I'm upset. You know what? If you're from New York, you know the Strand, which is a bookstore. If you're not from New York, I want to know if you know that bookstore. And if you come here, you know, you've been here on vacation, you probably know it. The Strand is a bookstore. It's an independent bookstore. It's on Lower Broadway and East 12th Street. So it's like in the East Village. That's considered the East Village. Union Square, East Village-ish. Broadway and East 12th. The Strand. It's a huge bookstore on the corner. They always have used books outside for like $1, $2. There's always tons of people there. When you go inside, they have the best selection of books. They have upstairs. They have downstairs. Anything you want, you could find. I think it's one of the only few left independent bookstores in the city. There's another bookstore that I love. I think that's on 57th Street or 58th. It's called Argosy. That is a multi-level bookstore. They have actually an interesting story. I should talk about that on one of the podcasts. Everybody's trying to buy their building, these sisters that inherited the bookstore, and they're like, fuck no, we're not letting you buy our building. We're going to be a bookstore, assholes. I love it. And all around them is these like giant office buildings. Like, it's hilarious. But anyway, no, the Strand has been around forever. It's been around for almost 100 years, and it's going to be going out of business, supposedly. That's the rumor. That's why I'm upset. One of the coolest last independent bookstores in Manhattan is going to be going out of business, and it's like a landmark in this city. So, like I said, if you've been here, like, you know it. Like, people, it's one of those places where if you talk to a New Yorker and they say, where should you go? Oh, I'm coming to town. Where should I go? And they might say Broadway. They might give you a couple of restaurant recommendations. They'll probably tell you Century 21, which, by the way, closed. I'm still in mourning. And they'll probably tell you the Strand, too, because it's so freaking cool. And you know what? It's because of COVID. It's because of COVID. This is why. And so much of New York is just changing, and it's sad. So the deal is that the woman who owns it, her name is Nancy Bass Wyden. She's the wife of the governor. I think he's from the governor from Oregon, which I know you're not supposed. I know it's Oregon, but like I think New Yorkers say Oregon, or maybe just me. I'm probably saying it wrong. I'm all class over here, but she owns it. She inherited it. Her grandfather founded it in the 20s, I think 1927. And then he passed it down to his son, and then the son passed it down to Nancy, the daughter. And so this bookstore has survived wars, the Depression, the giant bookstores all over the city, like Barnes and Noble, whatever. Then the online bookstores. Hello, Amazon. So they survived all this, and then COVID happens, and they're going to shut down. Like, I'm devastated. And let me tell you something. Let me tell you something about this store. This is the last bookstore that's still standing in New York from Book Row. So I don't know how much you know about New York City history and stuff, but I really am into New York City history. I love it. I love it. There's, like, I love everything about it. I have tons of books on New York City history. I'm like a diehard New Yorker. I like New York films, New York documentaries. It's my thing. Remember I was telling you about that building on the Bowery that was so cool? Well, this is like kind of one of those stories. This is Book Row, if you don't know it. Book Row was an area on 4th Avenue between Union Square and Astor Place, and from the 1890s to the 1960s. So from the 1890s to the 1960s, this whole area on 4th Avenue was called Book Row. And all it had on this street was secondhand bookstores. Like, and it was so cool. I mean, I would love to have lived during this time and see what this is like. But all the bookstores were different, right? So, like, one bookstore maybe, focused on cookbooks. Another bookstore focused on, art. Another bookstore, maybe sketching. Like that was the whole store. Like, how cool is that? And anyway, they all closed. They all closed and went out of business, except the Strand, right? And, it's really? And Nancy, I love you. I don't know you. But, Nancy, like, you loaded. Okay, you loaded. She's loaded. The woman's loaded who owns this. This is the funny thing, about wealthy people. Why isn't she putting some of her money in the business? Is she? I don't even know. Because last I checked, I heard that she just bought $250,000 in stock in Amazon. Oh, I'm sorry. Because Amazon is killing all the independent bookstores. This is a hot topic for the last freaking decade. And then you, biggest independent bookstore owner in New York, go buy stock in Amazon, like, aka the competitor that's crushing you. You know what she said on why she bought it? She said because she has to diversify her portfolio, okay? And she has to be on the up and up with her competitors. And how else is she going to, keep the Strand alive? Oh, Nancy doll. Come on. Did you buy Amazon stock to keep the Strand alive, or did you buy Amazon stock just because you bought Amazon stock? Please. Anyway, they had a few $1 million townhouse, $7 and $8 million townhouse. They sold it, I think, a few years ago. What about that dough? Put it into the Strand. But, listen, the reality situation is it doesn't really matter what she has and whatever. I mean, there's been barely any foot traffic to the stores in Manhattan. I mean, that bookstore is one of those stores where, like, you'd come to the city and you just stand outside and look at those $1 and $2 books. You could spend hours out there. You'd go inside. You'd linger. They have cool merch in there, like tote bags and all cool bookmarks and shit. And the people that are knowledgeable that work in there. And New York City just, when it was hit, look, please, it was hit hard through the pandemic. And although stores are reopening, and although stores have limited hours, but they're reopened and people are shopping and stuff. You sometimes can't survive, I guess. I don't know how this store can't survive because they own the building, but whatever. But right. So that's that. And I just feel sad. These are just rumors. These are rumors that I read that the Strand is going to close, but is it really a rumor? Or is it like softly saying, be prepared when it's going to close, because it's going to close. Because let me tell you something. Century 21, the designer discount mecca, okay, downtown, okay, that had an offshoot in Upper West Side that was not as good. They didn't have a soft announcement that they were going to close. One day I woke up out of bed, I hear Century 21 is closing. I was schwitzing for the whole day, and the next day the store was having liquidation sales, and a week later, they're done. So maybe the Strand didn't want to be that jarring. But really? Really? Ugh, so depressing. So depressing. Anyway. Do you like salads? You know what? I don't like salads. I can't stand salads. But as I get older, I gotta eat salads. I gotta eat salads because, they're healthy for you and clean eating and shit. And also, when you go out to lunch, like a work lunch, you can't be like, yeah, I'll take the sloppy Joe with waffle fries, and a side of honey mustard. No, you gotta have a little decorum. You got to be like a lady and eat your meal with. You got to eat your meal with a fork. So you got to have salad is basically what I'm saying. So I trained myself to have salads. And by the way, on that note, there's a whole philosophy to business dining and like what to order. Like when you go out to lunch or a work dinner, like you there's a decorum you have to follow. Like health, you have to order something healthy. You should order something that has a modest portion, nothing fussy. Like, is your boss going to give you a raise if you're like, I'll have the chicken sandwich, no mayo or lettuce, but can you add sriracha and a side of avocado? Your boss is going to be like, this woman's a pain in the ass. I can't wait to ditch her. No, you can't do that. And you can't have a sloppy Joe, although you want to. So I get salads. And if it's a dinner, if it's a business dinner, I get like a light fish, classing it up. I'm not, and fish is good. If you're at a business dinner and you get a fish, it is good. You know why? Because you're not offending the vegetarians at the table. Because a lot of vegetarians are pescatarians. No offense if you're a full veggie, but some of them are pescatarians. So fish is good, okay? And then you're still in the game with the big boys, carnivores, meat eaters, eating the steak. Because you still got like an entree. You got a fish, Anyway, back to salads. I hate them. But I have reasons to eat them, as I just mentioned. And, I need to be healthy. But then in walks shrimp, okay? Shrimp. So I was in the supermarket the other day, and they had a couple pounds frozen bag of PLD vein shrimp. And I was going to buy them and say, I'm going to have a shrimp scampi, maybe a few nights, and whatever. Shrimp oreganata. And then one day I was looking in the fridge, and I was working from home, making a salad, and I was like, I'm feeling a little luxurious today. I deserve a little luxury today. I'm going to have a shrimp salad. And let me tell you something. So I made the shrimp salad, and I'm hooked. Not shrimp salad like tuna salad or chicken. Not like with the mayo. None of that. Like shrimp. I made the shrimp, and then I put it over the salad. It was so good. I want to tell you how I made the shrimp. Okay? I bought the frozen shrimp. This is like the easiest thing in the whole world, and it's so delicious. I bought these shrimp, peeled, defanged. I took out 5. I only wanted 5 shrimp in my salad. So I got a whole ton of shrimp left in the freezer, So I have this seasoning. I think it's Mrs. Dash. It's a Caribbean jerk seasoning. Literally, like I bought it in the spice aisle. I don't even know what I was going to use it for. I was in the supermarket. I was in ShopRite. I saw they had this seasoning. It was like Caribbean jerk seasoning. I think it was by Mrs. Dash. Little small bottle, yellow top. I love jerk seasoning. And I just said, I'm gonna buy this. I'm gonna buy this, and I'm gonna put it on like salmon or a piece of chicken or whatever. And what I did was I thawed the shrimp out. So this is what I did. I thawed the shrimp. I took the 5 out. I put it in a strainer. I thawed them out, and then they were still a little cold, icy. So I had to run them under the cold water. And by the way, if you don't thaw, you could run them under cold. And then all I did was I put them in a plate. I shook some of the Caribbean jerk seasoning on them. I took a non-stick skillet, whatever you have, skillet, saute pan, whatever. I put a little drizzle of olive oil, this tiniest smattering of butter in the pan. And then I put the seasoned shrimp. I cooked them for 40 seconds on each side. Done. Can you imagine? It was delicious. And on this salad, the only thing I had was black olives and lettuce. So this shrimp really jazzed it up. I took each shrimp, I cut it in little pieces. Anyway, so that's it. Now I'm hooked. Now I think I could do salads. But I really was telling you that for the shrimp recipe. It's not a recipe. It's just like sometimes I think we like overcomplicate things for ourselves. I know I do. I'm really only speaking on behalf of myself. Like I'll be like, oh my God, I want to have shrimp. Oh, I'm going to buy that from the store. Oh, I don't know how to make it. But you know what? If you sprinkle a little seasoning on it, like whatever. Anyway. So, okay. Are you in a new relationship? Newish? Or even like a seasoned relationship? How do you make the relationship last? How do you make the good relationship last? I'm blowing up. Don't mind that. Blowing up. Okay? You have a good relationship. You love it. You're happy in the moment. How do you make it last? How do you make the relationship work? And let me tell you something. I wish I was doing this podcast when I was married. Okay? Because, look, it was the right thing for me and my ex to get divorced. It was. But he was a wonderful guy. I'm a great woman. We loved each other. We still do. We co-parent wonderfully. We're friends. We're amicable. It's not a disaster divorce. I couldn't deal with that. But I wish I had this podcast when I was married, because I'm talking to so many people. I'm talking about so many different topics, all stuff that I talk about with my girlfriends. But the difference between me talking with my girlfriends at the diner and me talking to my girlfriends via podcast, aka you guys, is that this is public. So I'm obviously talking to experts on the side and doing research before sometimes I'm talking about the topics that I'm talking about, right? And so I wish. So it's this is what I'm trying to say is this. I go to therapy, but this podcast is almost like therapeutic for me. And listen, I can't beat myself up over the past. We can't do that. All we could do is try harder, move forward, not go back. But like the adage says, the old adage, hindsight is 20/20. And it is. It is. Because I'm learning so much. I'm learning so much talking to everybody and the listeners. Thank you, by the way. But in terms of how to make a good relationship last, that's something I probably would have wanted to think about when I was, married or on the fritzel. And listen, there's a lot of things. Listen, if you want to make a good marriage last, I shouldn't even say good marriage. You want to make a good relationship last. I'm going to say even a new relationship. The quick things that come to the head. You got to be into forgiveness. Don't keep score. And be a good team, right? Like those are some easy, quick things that we all know. And of course, they're hard in the moment, but we know them. But then there's bigger things, okay? So I was talking to a friend who's a therapist, and they are bigger things, okay? And I want to tell you what she said to me. The first one is to accept the fact that conflict is normal and healthy. So if you are in a new relationship, a new, good, happy relationship, how do you make this shit last? Well, you have to know, and he has to know, that conflict is healthy. If you have a fight, it's okay. It's not the end of the world. Don't throw away the relationship because you hit a rough patch. Like, when you hit a rough patch and you can communicate through it, it helps the communication in the long run. It helps the trust as you go weather life together, okay? The second thing is you got to give each other space. I was not the best at this when I was married. We were married. We had the kids. It was chaotic. We worked. And and I guess I was codependent. Like, I don't know, maybe. But he went out with friends. I didn't go out as much with friends because I was busy. I was being mom and working long hours. And the reality situation is it became unhealthy. And healthy couples spend time away from each other. They do their own thing. They have friends. They have their hobbies. They're not worried about their partner all the time. And by the way, on the hobby thing, I did always have hobbies, though. I did always have hobbies. I did stand-up. I did improv. I took painting classes here and there. In New York, you have access to some of these different kinds of arts. I took an upholstery class. I interior design, hence my gorgeous wall-to-wall leopard carpeting. But, I did take classes. But in terms of, really going out with friends a lot and just giving each other that space, I wasn't good at that. But, you shouldn't be worried also if they ask you for space. You're dating a guy for 3 months. Everything's going nice. And then he's like, babe, I think, we get together every weekend, but I think on this weekend, I'm just going to do some of my own stuff, catch up on my work, maybe get a couple beers with the guys. Well, let me tell you something. If he said that to me 10 years ago, it would have been fucking World War III in here. I would have been like, what do you mean you want space? What is over? Are you kidding me? But the reality situation is that it's healthy. You must want nights to do things for yourself, right? I mean, now that I'm divorced and obviously I live alone, I enjoy the nights that I have by myself sometimes, and I could never get back into a relationship where it was 24/7 nausea. Ugh. Anyway, the other thing to make a new relationship work, a new good relationship. I keep stressing good. I want to tell you why I keep stressing good. I keep stressing good because I think that so many of us get into any old fucking relationship and we're like, I want to make it work. Meanwhile, he's the biggest douche this side of the Mississippi. No, make a good relationship work. And the third thing, take care of your own needs and be good to yourself. So it's kind of like the other thing. Have your own personal identity. You want your relation to be healthy, balanced. Have your space, do your exercise, have your hobbies. By the way, we all have that friend. You know it. You know exactly what I'm going to say, right? You know it. She gets into a relationship with a guy. Maybe he's I don't know. He's a librarian. Maybe he wears, pocket protectors and a bow tie. Maybe your friend, she likes to wear, rhinestone wonder bras and booty shorts. Next thing you know, she's dating a librarian, and you see her, and she's wearing freaking metal spectacles and suspenders because she's all of a sudden assumed his identity. So unhealthy. But so many girls do it. But whatever. We can't do that. The other thing that my friend who's a therapist that we're talking about, she said, be affectionate. Relationships, they're supposed to be fun. They're supposed to be warm. They're supposed to be light and fun and filled with laughter and hugs. And she said so many of her patients in long-term relationships, they forget this. They come in, they're like, I can't with this person. We're so busy. But, and she says, well, do you hug each other? At the end of the night, do you actually lay next to each other? And probably not, because they're all nauseous about each other. I've been there. But she says, like, you really got to, like, make the fun time. I want to tell you something. One time when I was married, sort of towards the end, I was, like, really into trying to plan sweet dates for each other. And I planned a date for us. It was, like, my turn, his turn. Although, like, I feel like he slacked on his turn, so what the F? Not even slacked. He didn't even plan that shit. Whatever. Anyway, I planned a rock climbing date for us. I'm not a rock climber. Come on. Do I sound like a rock climber to you? But I did it, and it was fun. It was really fun. And so, like, here's this guy I've been with for so long, and then we're, like, rock climbing and swinging from these elastic bands. And, it was weird, but it was fun. And I feel like that's kind of like the affection thing. Like, that wasn't, like, lovey-dovey, hot, sexy. But it was fun and lighthearted, and we laughed and giggled, So she said, be affectionate. And then the last thing that she told me, she's like, Elyse, you got to communicate. Now, I feel like we all know this. She's like, but you got to communicate about your boundaries and your non-negotiables. And I never really thought of it like this. Like, I know communicating. You know communicating, right? Like, we all said, this is what, like, I like, or I don't want to go to Chinese food tonight, or, like, I need you to be home at 5. Like, is that communicating? But what she really means is that we all have needs, and your partner isn't a mind reader. And in the relationships, you need to explain to the other person, like, what you're feeling, like, really explain what you're feeling, use feeling words, not like, you're making me so mad, I fucking hate you. Like, I feel really upset because of blah, blah, blah. And then you have to say what your needs are, she told me. Like, telling your partner, I need some space. Like, I need space. I want to be a good wife for you. I want to be a loving wife for you. I want to be patient, but I need some space for about 2 hours. And if you can just respect that, we can talk again. And, like, communicating those needs goes a long way. I didn't do that. I sometimes did, but I was probably yelling or crying or scream crying. Oh, the worst. Or hangry, because you're pregnant. Just crazy. Anyway. Okay. So, you're in this new relationship, or maybe not. How you looking? You looking good? Are you have kids? Do you know about the Mommy Makeover? Okay, so let me tell you a quick story, okay? A couple of years ago, I was in the North Fork of Long Island with some girlfriends. If any of you are listening, hello. That was so fun, right? So we went to Greenport. It was a friend's 40th birthday. So we all went. It was about 10 girls. We came from all over the place. Most girls came from Manhattan, and we went out to the North Fork. And by the way, if you're listening and you don't know the North Fork, out east Long Island is the Hamptons, and then there's the North Fork, which is sort of a toned down, muted, more chill, casual Hamptons. And it's not as fussy and pretentious or whatever. So we went on this 40th birthday weekend to Greenport with a bunch of girls. It was so fun. And so one of the days, we're all laying by the pool, and one of my friends, her name was Anna, who now since lives in the UK. Hi, Anna, if you're listening. And she said to me, do you girls, we all have kids, do you girls know about the Mommy Makeover? And I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. And she said, the makeover, it's like basically you go to a plastic surgeon and you say, like, you'd like take off all your clothes and you're like, okay, how can you fix me, sort of thing. And I don't think it was a British thing. And she's British. I don't know if it's a British thing. I don't know, but I don't know that term from here. And I don't know if I, like, read, like, Cosmo or something like this enough to know. Is it a thing? But anyway. So I obviously was looking into it after she told me all about it. And basically what it is, it's literally like, I mean, it's so vain. It's so vain and whatever. But you basically go to a plastic surgeon and he tells you kind of what cosmetic procedures you can have to go back to your pre-baby body or a body that you want. To sort of mitigate, the childbearing effects, aging, your saggy bubbies, And these mommy makeovers, I mean, look, they're surgery, like it's plastic surgery, or you can also get non-surgical stuff like cool spa and shit. But basically, it's like you're going into the plastic surgeon and you're like, look, I had 10 kids suck on my left breast for about 4 years straight. Like, I need boob job. Oh, and I need, a tummy tuck. And I don't give a shit if it gives me, like, a scar all around the circumference of my lower half. Like, I want the baby fat out. After 25 years, it won't go away. And so that's what the mommy makeover is. I had a little bit of a mommy makeover. A little secret. I'm not going to talk about it too much. I should. I know I should. But like that. But then, then what if I date a guy and then, like, he hears this and, like, he knows and then he's like, what the fuck? But, like, I did have a little bit of it, okay? Look, I had 2 daughters, 17 months apart, okay? I unfortunately got divorced. Like, why should I walk around with, like, one breast bigger than the other? Why? Why should I? I selflessly gave my body up to 2 gorgeous girls, and I love them more than life itself, and they love me. But why should I go around like lopsided tits McGee? No, I get that shit fixed. And I have never, I will tell you, been happier. I'm so happy. But anyway, so basically, it's like you're going in and you're like, can you do vaginal rejuvenation? And I do actually know what that is, and it's horrific. But these are like the popular things that the girls get in Mommy Makeover. My friend Anna told me they get their boobs done, whether it's like a boob lift or they want volume in their breast, so they get a little implant. They're improving the symmetry. Okay, hello. Sometimes if you're breastfeeding, your nipples get stretched. I know, like if you're a guy and you're listening to this, like you should just probably shut it off now because we're making you nauseous and it's TMI. Unless you have a wife and you want to be sensitive, then we all love you. But the other thing is, so it's like, look. Your muscles and your abdomen are stretched, right? I forget what they call that. Like, I can't even pronounce it. I think it's something with a D, diastasis or something. It's like when your muscles, like, are weird and move. Sometimes your belly button looks like the black hole of fucking death. How about that? You can get belly button makeover. Or, like me, I was a runner. I stopped running because I hurt my knee. And also because I got lazy. Who am I kidding? But I had, like, just weight on my stomach I just couldn't get rid of. Like, I dieted. I was running. Some weeks I was running like 15 miles a week. I'm sorry, for someone that didn't grow up as a runner, that was a fucking long time to book it and run all around Central Park. But that weight still wasn't coming off. So it's that. It's also, vaginal rejuvenation. Okay? So basically what I'm saying, it's a boob job. It's getting your vagina done over, your belly button, and liposuction. So this is obviously a personal decision, right? So when Anna was telling me about this, I was like, oh my God, this is so vain. I could never. And then it stuck with me. It haunted me. It literally haunted me. And I went to the doctor and I said, what could you do for me? And he took a gander, okay? And we talked about it and we negotiated. And then I did it. And I did a little plastic nip tuck, and I couldn't be happier. And so I want to know if you did it. And, like, I have a friend, Lindsay. Hi, Lindsay. I know you listen to this podcast. She is the nicest girl in the whole entire world. She's literally, I can't even tell you what she does because she's actually she's now the full-time mommy, but she was in the public eye. But she's amazing. And when she had her babies, her 2 gorgeous girls, she her boobs, like, she had like fat, like in her armpit from her boobs. Like, I know. And it it was like a 3rd boob or something. And she went to get it fixed. And so she should. That is included in the Mommy Makeover. Anyway, they say that do it when you finish having children, or at least recovered from pregnancy, and after you have this Mommy Makeover, by the way, it's plastic surgery, so you're not going to be able to lift anything. You're not going to be able to lift 10-pound kettlebells or your 10-pound baby. You're going to need help. You're going to be out of commission, whatever. So, also, I think in the Mommy Makeover, my plastic surgeon, how insane does that sound? My plastic surgeon. It sounds so Upper East Side, but come on, it's not for me, at least. Please, I'm like the trashiest client he has. I'm like, yeah, you got any free water in here? You got any free M&Ms in the lobby? He's like, what did the cat drag in? Like, really? Anyway. You could get non-surgical stuff like Botox, which we talked about in another podcast. You can get cool spa, fillers, the skin resurfacing stuff, and all that. I've had Botox, as I said. I love it. I can't do without it. But I did do a little boobage. I did do a little lipage. That's all I'm going to say. But I recommend. And I'm curious to know if you guys had any of that. All the celebs did it. Like, honestly, you saw those pictures of Kim K. How big did her butt get when she was pregnant? Remember when she put her foot in those clear sandals? She took them off. It was like Vienna sausages with like luggage wraps around it. Like, she was like, poor foot was suffocating. You telling me that she didn't have a little bit of a mommy makeover? Please. With all her money, of course she did. She'd never tell anybody. But of course they did. So, are you wearing your mask? Are you doing the mask thing? You masking it up? We obviously have to mask it up all over the place. And I think you do too. But everywhere we go. And I thought the mask thing was going to be temporary, so I only bought the blue surgical masks. If you watch my TikTok, you'll see I'm wearing those. And in the summer, I thought that they were fine because they're light. Well, I should say, I still think they're fine. They're lightweight. They're breathable. You can throw them out, disposable. But now that it's fall, getting into winter, do I really want to wear pastel blue paper mask over my face going on 8 months? No. So I'm gonna buy some better masks. I'm curious if you guys have better masks. If you are listening, message me on TikTok. I would love to know. But I thought in Asia, like a year ago or 2 years ago, whatever, like the Asian people in their culture, they wear the mask. And I don't know why. I don't know if it's because it's so densely populated. I don't know why, but they do. They sometimes wear masks from time to time. And they wear fabulous masks. They have like freaking Louis Vuitton masks. I see them in bendy masks. Like, you go, mama. But it was all a mystery to me. And now we're wearing these masks and it's going on 8 months. And I'm like, I want to have a cute freaking mask, My mask also on the inside, it looks like a bloody mess. It's not blood, it's lipstick, but it's a goddamn disaster. So these cloth masks, I feel like they've been a very coveted item of 2020. I read this study that the survey that happened in New York not too long ago, and people said that when the pandemic is over, when there's a vaccine, there's a group of people that still might wear the mask. They still might wear it if they're sick, if they have the flu, if they have a cold. After going through this experience, they will go to wear a mask. So I'm just like, oh shit, masks is like the new knee highs. It's like you don't want to buy knee highs. You don't want to buy those things, those beige colored things that come in a plastic egg from Rite Aid that go up to your knee that God forbid any man saw. But you have to have them because what happens if you're wearing dress pants and you need to wear a pair of shoes and you don't want to wear those like horrible little footsie things, You want to cover your whole foot in a hose. So this is like the masks. They're hideous. You don't want to have to buy them, but you do. So a couple of my friends told me where they got their masks. They got them at Nordstrom, Express, Anthropologie, Banana Republic. They said all the stores are selling them like little 3 and 5 packets. I did see. I was in Uniqlo not too long ago, and I saw they had, which, by the way, I love that store. If you don't go, I love it for kids' clothes. I should do a TikTok about it. But anyway, they had like a little pack of 3. Airism is their thing. Masks in white and black. And I was going to get them, but I was like, nah, I'm good with the blue. Now I want to change. But I would love to know if you buy masks from Amazon, okay? Because, like, I don't really want to go to Nordstrom, okay, and buy a pack of masks or buy a mask for like $13 that I'm just going to smear lipstick all over. It's going to smell like mask breath. You know what that is. So I'm curious to know where you get your masks and all that jazz. So, okay. Do you guys use a serum? A serum? Obviously a lot of people are using serums these days. And I was on Amazon a while ago, and this serum popped up. I actually have it right here. Let me grab it in front of me. I love this, okay? It's called, the brand is True Skin, TRU Skin, True Skin Serum. The one that I have that I love, it's Tea Tree Clear Skin Super Serum. Tea Tree Clear Skin Super Serum. In the serum, It's vitamin C, hyaluronic acid, retinol, salicylic acid, and a few other things I can't pronounce. But who cares? So I have combination skin / oily skin. In the summer, you could fry eggs on my skin. Like, you don't even need to go to the kitchen. You could just come to my forehead. And then in the winter or in the afternoon at work, I just get oily in the T-zone and my chin, which is also horrific. But I like to use salicylic acid year round. I use a retinol cream year round. But I got this serum, and so after I wash my face, and I just wash my face with the bar soap, like Dove soap. Sometimes I have other things that I try here and there, but I really just like plain old bar soap. And after I'm done washing my face, I put the serum on. I basically put a little drop in my hand, and I slap it gently all over my face, and then I put my moisturizer on. And my moisturizer, sunscreen, or whatever. I have barely breakouts. My skin glows. My pores have gotten smaller. I really like this product. I really do. It's $25, but it lasts for a long time. So I bought this. I'm looking at, my eyes are so bad. Are your eyes bad? Honestly, I have my contacts in. I could barely see this thing. Anyway, I bought this like, I don't know, 9 months ago, and it's still half full, and it expires in January 2021. Like, that's good. And I only use a few drops. And I love the smell of tea tree for whatever reason. I don't know why. I didn't like it when I was young, but I like it. I like it now. I'm actually going to, let me get, it's like, it just smells good. It's like, smells like Whole Foods, which I don't like that smell. Like, but it also smells like Vicks Vapor Rub, which is reminiscent of my childhood. Anyway, True Skin, Tea Tree Clear Skin, Super Serum. And I just want to say, people like serums more than creams. If you don't use serum, they like them more than creams because they feel like they penetrate better into the skin. So I tried it. I love it. Sold. So, someone asked me on TikTok. I do my 2 questions on TikTok where girls, they send me some questions in the messages or in the comments, and I pick a couple questions, and I do my best to answer them. And one of the questions I really liked, and I hope that she listens to this. And if she's not listening, I'm going to message you. And I'm sorry. I know. I'm doing a podcast. I didn't walk away from you. I did not walk away from you. Someone's blowing up my phone. I had to grab my phone for a second. Anyway, this woman, I don't remember her name, but she sent me a really cute message. And she said, "Hey, Elyse, every year I come to New York. I have a young son. I want to come this year, but I'm not quite sure. My husband says we shouldn't go. Do you think we should come?" So here is my response to you. This really depends on you and your husband and what kind of kid you have. You also didn't tell me how old your son was. So listen, if your son is 2, do I think you should come? No, I don't. Because, in January you run the risk of snowing. Like, so many things are closed. Like, what the hell? Like, what are you going to do? You're going to have your super stroller, your monster truck stroller, wheeling that shit down the street with nowhere to go. And if it's snowing and icy, come on. But if your son is 8, maybe even 6 or 10, yeah, I kind of think you should come. So, but here's the thing you need to consider. January is cold. So obviously, listen, if you come every year, you know this. Get your hat, your gloves, your snow boots. I actually just bought a pair of new snow boots last year on sale. So good, Sorels. I should do that in a product review. You probably have them now, but they were on sale and they're so good. And they're like the thinner Sorel. Anyway, they're so great. No snow gets in them or water. But look, things right now in New York are limited, and that doesn't really seem to be coming to an end. Any New Yorker is saying this. It's not seem to be ending anytime soon. So if I were you, I would try to get an Airbnb, stay in an apartment with a kitchen. I would do that versus a hotel. I don't know what you've done in the past, but like, if restaurants, look, a lot of restaurants are closed, okay? And a lot of the restaurants that are open have their outdoor dining spaces, and you're able to do 25% of dining indoors. But the reality situation is, in the winter, come on, supply and demand. We're going to cram every single New Yorker into the restaurants, and all the restaurants are 25% capacity. Nobody wants to sit outside in the cold, even if they have heaters. So I would stay in an apartment with a kitchen and make your own food if you need to or if you want to. Look, there's no theater. the restaurants that, like I said, they're limited. Museums are open. The Natural History Museum is open. I just went there. There's the Museum of Ice Cream on the Bowery, which is open and super cool. Central Park is obviously open. The stores are open, limited though, some limited hours. The High Line is open. I did a TikTok on that. It's just the elevated park. New York Botanical Gardens, I heard, are open. Every year they do a holiday train show where they make miniatures of trains and stuff. I don't know if you've been, but it's so cool. And that's something definitely your son would like. But the other thing that I just heard yesterday is going to be open is the Winter Village in Bryant Park. So Bryant Park, it's like 42nd, 5th Avenue, 6th Avenue. They have like a little winter shop. So cute. You wander all around. They have the ice skating rink. They have little candy shops and shops to buy tchotchkes at. This is going to be open. And I'm so surprised because those stores are all crammed on top of each other. But I heard that it's going to be spaced out appropriately, whatever that means. And everything obviously is going to be outdoors as it is. So I don't really know what they're talking about. And there's going to be timed ice skating sessions. So that's a long way to say, yeah, if your kid is older, I think you should come. Come, but get an apartment. Because I would hate for you to come wherever you're coming from and you fly here and some of the restaurants are closed and the only place you could eat is in the hotel and you spend an arm and a leg. I mean, that would be terrible, right? Okay. Second question. Elyse. Oh, wait, this is a big one. I want to get divorced. What do I do? Okay. So, look, this is a huge answer, but here's a short version. Let's remember, the grass isn't always greener. It's just not. The grass isn't greener. Sometimes it could be greener, but for the most part, it's not. I think you need to obviously really think about this. I'm sure you did think about it. Maybe you just want some validation. I think you should write a pros and cons list. I also would think about what are the reasons why you want to get divorced? Are you arguing a lot? What are the arguments? Are the arguments that your husband just forgets to take out the garbage every day and stuff like that? Are you arguing about religion? Like, are you arguing about politics or maybe where to live? Like, he wants to live in Russia and you want to live in San Diego? Because, I mean, those are huge foundational things. I think writing that list, even if you did it a million times, that would just be my advice, to write it over. And before you made any decision or any announcement to him or anything, I would probably go to an attorney just to think about if you need to or want to protect yourself, which you should. I did not use an attorney. But my husband and I that was rare, and we just are amicable, and we didn't need to do an attorney. But I would go talk to somebody, but do the pros and cons list. Like, the grass isn't really greener, and the apps are fucking miserable. Honestly, the freak shows that are on these goddamn apps. I mean, really? Like, I'm talking about, like, 65-year-olds that think that they're 40. I'm talking about, people that have all kinds of mental health issues, and they think you're going to save them. I'm talking about guys that are cheaters, that are non-committal, that understand that right now what's in style, what's in vogue is not, having girlfriends or committing. I mean, like, what do you want for your life, Because if you have a good guy, my grandma used to say, if you have a good guy and he doesn't drink and he doesn't do drugs and he has a job and he's loving, maybe, maybe you could work it out. I'm not the best person to talk because I'm divorced. Anyway, that's the end of the show. Thank you, as usual, for listening to the Elyse DeLucci Show. Again, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, tell your friends. It's like a girl party. Also, if there's anything you want me to talk about specifically, drop it in my TikTok DMs or my Instagram DMs. Or any questions you have, even if you want to ask me personal questions, I don't mind answering, Send me a review on Apple Podcasts. I love that. You can follow me on TikTok at Elyse DeLucci, on Instagram, Elyse DeLucci, or my website, like I always tell you, that I never update, www.elysedelucci.com. Talk to you next time. Bye-bye.